Hello everybody, my name is Fico and welcome to another Investigating True Gaming. I have to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer. I had a very terrible day yesterday. I wasn't feeling all that well after I ate something for lunch. Pretty much spent almost the entirety of Sunday night just completely out. So if I sound a little weak, that's just it. I threw up a bunch this yesterday evening, and I haven't eaten much because I haven't been able to eat that much, just trying to keep it easy. But regardless, I decided I don't want to let it too much time to pass without giving you guys one of these ITGs. So today, I'm going to talk about the decline of arcades. It was posted by the name it shows up as deleted from where I'm reading it, but if I do see the name on the actual Reddit page, because I'm using Alien Blue to read it, but the person who posted this posted it 193 days ago, and it's garnered up to 28 comments, and it's called The Decline of Arcades, a Step Forward or a Step Backwards, and this is the post itself. Now, this is the basic history, and it is in parentheses. It says, correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm reading it. This isn't what I'm saying, this is what the Redditor is saying, so here we go. Arcades exploded in popularity in the 70s. The video game industry collapsed in the early 80s. Many arcades included the NES and other home consoles offered an alternative, but arcades were still around. Arcades had a bit of a revival in the late 90s and early 2000s with fighting games, but the 6th gen of consoles came around to challenge them back. Since online multiplayer has developed 05 onwards, arcades have been vanishing. I know Japan still has a good share of arcades in its densest city, but more and more arcades have been closing in the US. Yes, there are still arcades at places like Chuck E. Cheese, boardwalks on shores, and an occasional Pac-Man machine at a pizzeria, but they have more so mini games than, let's say, cutting-edge games like Soul Calibur. There was a time where almost every venue had an arcade machine. Now it's rare. There's definitely nostalgia. I wish that arcades nearby my house was reopened so I could visit it one last time. But 10 years ago when I was there, I actually didn't like it. I had plenty of games, better graphics, deeper gameplay, and much more content. I could play at home for free, and I didn't feel like blowing $30 in an hour just to keep myself occupied. At the same time, I feel like with online play, gaming has become less social than ever. Consoles originally replaced arcades to create a more intimate setting for multiplayer, but now what we have is less social than arcades, even if arcades were really flawed. Now, I have a personal history with arcades, and even in Puerto Rico, where I'm originally from, arcades are very much in the decline. They really are. My local mall, I remember they used to have a timeout there, and I remember that every single week, me and my girlfriend, who ended up later becoming my wife, we would go there. When she got me hooked on Dance Dance Revolution, it was so amazing. There was even a Dance Dance Revolution tournament, and I had hoped to get good enough so that it could host it next year, but it never happened. I never saw this tournament happen ever again. It was really disorganized. Hell, there was even one guy there that was filming and got me on camera to film about what was DDR like, and it was just kind of like weird because that's kind of sort of what I did in Tampa Never Sleeps. I just kind of gathered some of them, trying to get the overall experience of the whole thing on film a little bit so I could show the world what the FGC is in the Tampa area. And I remember it was a very social experience, even though, yes, it does cost a lot more money to play. You did have to take out money, and then you have to insert it in to get tokens, and it's a bit of a hassle. You had to wait in order to play. It was like, but it was definitely a very social aspect of it. But that was on the research, and that was kind of what I think happened in what this Redditor posted. It was like there was a bit of a resurgence. There was also games like Tekken coming back, and they had really nice systems there, and games were still coming out for arcades, but the upkeep for arcades is also a bit of a hassle. The people that was running that time out, they were never really the most competent. And then came consoles along. I mean, I was playing consoles too, but consoles ended up evolving. I mean, this person is right. I mean, there were better games. There was a lot more induced story. Arcade games don't carry a story because they don't want you to be stuck on the arcade machine playing it constantly for hours and hours. They want you to play, get a quick game so you can put in another quarter, so you can play, and so you can put in another few quarters and tokens or whatever the name of the currency is. And consoles don't do that. You get the console, you buy the game. The cost of it all comes very, very big at first, but the overall value, it's better. You don't have to get in your car to go anywhere. You don't have to change anything. But yes, and also he says something also very interesting, or she, intimate multiplayer. Get to play with your friends. You don't have to go anywhere to play with your friends. You don't have to go to the Dave and Buster's. You don't have to go to your local arcade and meet them up there. No, you can just have them meet you up in your place. You don't have to share the arcades with everybody else. But of course, that makes the thing a little less social because you don't get to interact with anybody and you're just playing by yourself. But online definitely does something to connect you with other people. It isn't such a bad thing if you're just interacting with people online, though I do think it does hurt a little bit in the social aspect because hanging with people online definitely isn't the same as hanging with people in real life. I would say it's a lot worse if online wasn't around. But for me, the reason why the consoles have always had this edge against the arcades now especially, and it's causing them, it's because consoles advanced and arcades didn't. I mean, really, what is the main draw of going to the arcade? It's just to feel a little nostalgia because you knew growing up as a gamer that they were important. You met with other people just to play games. I remember going to a Pizza Hut and they always had arcade machines there. I remember going to the arcade that was across from what eventually will become my university, and it was called the Raimi Delight, and I also got ice cream there too, and it was really good. I played Street Fighter 2 there, Mortal Kombat there, Timeout. The one Timeout that I know is still open. That's where I got introduced to Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat 2. And those were great times. But it's like I said, those arcades, they didn't quite change. I mean, what did you have? You had the games that you play for tokens, and you can get toys, or you can put in a quarter, or wait and put in a quarter and wait and wait and wait. You also had to travel to the location, and it also cost money to keep on playing games over and over and over. And you're probably thinking, it's like, even with things that you travel to, like for example, when I went to Tampa Never Sleeps, everybody used consoles. And I'll get to them about it later, about how they're the ones that seem to be very passionate in keeping the arcades alive, because that's where most of them got their start. Now, companies know that consoles are more popular than ever. They do on occasion still make games, like for example, Tekken 7 is going to get ready to go out on arcades. But I think what they're getting themselves ready for is to get people excited is for when this hit the consoles, because the big draw for them is when this game gets attention in fighting game tournaments, and most of them, not all of the players that play that, they do play them on consoles. They play on their own joysticks. Hell, I've got a fight stick. You don't need to get the experience of the arcade machines anymore, because you got a fight stick that was designed to exactly replicate them, and it's even a better experience. Arcades are also ran by people, and they're not really there for the games. They're just there because, it's just a normal job. They teach them how to get the machines from a coin jam. They're there to give you tickets, and they're not really the greatest experience. It's like, for instance, there's a arcade location that is in a mall. It's called Tilt, and Honestly, I have not gone to that mall for a while, but I'm willing to bet that if I were to go to that mall right now, the machines that are there are the exact same ones that they were there months ago. And those were the ones that were there months ago before then, years ago. It's just that most arcades, they know it's a bit of an upkeep. I don't know how it works, if they have to pay for the machines to get brought over. And of course, it's an investment because you get those brought over. The reason is because you're going to get people to go to your arcade to play them. But the game is also going to come out for console, so they know that it's hard to keep people interested. But unfortunately, because of how things are going well with the consoles and online gaming, especially now with things like esports and nothing that's keeping people from going places. I mean, they're just practicing from their homes playing these games. My conclusion is that it's going to be a thing in the past. US arcades are just not enough of a attention grabber to keep people from going to them. They just, I mean, and also mobile gaming, which is in its own a bit of a problem in the gaming industry, but mobile gaming is also a thing that's keeping people from getting consoles. It's almost as if it's kind of just like working on the consoles as well. You have a mobile device, why would you want a console? You want a console because they're better games, but I don't think that mobile gaming like stuff on tablets and phones are going to hurt them in the long run, but it is kind of sort of the same thing. If you've got a console, you play the same games that are going to be on arcades, they're going to look better, they're going to play better, they're going to offer you more, and you don't have to insert money every time you want to play just the arcade mode. To me, it's just not worth it. And also, consoles are changing too. I mean, these next two consoles, I mean, the PlayStation 4 and the Wii U and the Xbox One, they themselves are changing. Now you don't even need physical media to play the games. You can download them now, and you don't even have to go anywhere. You don't have to shop anywhere. You could just buy them straight there. You can also get the online codes through other sites, and that saves you the trouble to have to deal with incompetent butt wipes like people in GameStop. I apologize for the language, but they always make me angry. And I also think that people just prefer ease as well. They don't, I mean, why to go through the hassle of going to some arcade in the middle of nowhere that's being upheld by some diehard gamer that just wants to hold on to the old feeling. It's almost as this thing that is happening was like when people were trying to get 8-track tapes brought back. We're sort of seeing this resurgence of the full-blown records now, like the big records that you play on these big record players. For some reason, those things are still around. CDs are still around, but those I think are, to me, more just the preservation of that sort of is a lot stronger. To me, I think they feel that they get the best sound from those kind of records. But nobody thinks that at all about arcades. The diehards are keeping it there because they don't want it to go away. And part of it, that it's probably the FGC, because I don't hear many people talking about arcade resurgences. Someone like Maximilian from YouTube, he always does these videos sometimes where he's going to local arcades and he's noticed that there are things that are still there. There's this one place in particular that holds nothing but arcades. It also holds LAN parties. They can also help you stream games there. So there is a spirit to keep arcades alive. But unfortunately, I have to say that to answer the question from the very beginning, the downfall of arcades, is it a step forward or a step back? It's been a step forward. We're not getting rid of arcades because we don't want them there. They're just getting rid of arcades because nobody's going to them, because why would you want to go to an arcade when everything here is at your home, at your disposal? It's easy. You don't have to spend anything. Now that used games, it makes it even easier to get games on the cheap. So it's not that we want arcades to go away. It's just that's just the inevitability of the things. That's just the inevitability. That's the truth. Why do we want to keep arcades open if nobody cares about them? I mean, there are people that care about them. I mean, would I want arcades to go away? No, but I don't see myself losing any sleep because at the end of the day, I still got my PC. I still got my portable gaming consoles. I still got my consoles here. So it's not hurting gaming. It's not hurting me. And I'm pretty sure even the FGC, the ones that were born out of playing games on the arcade, like people like me who've been playing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Fatal Fury, and all these games that have been coming out on arcades forever, but they're getting ported over to consoles anyway, I honestly don't think that we have anything to worry about. And Tampa never sleeps. If you were there, everything there was a console. Was that one arcade machine that they brought in, which was not even the big draw of the whole place. I thought it was cool that it was there, but that just further cements the point. Gaming and its community, I think, will be fine, and I don't think, hell, one day we might even come back to this topic years from now, talking about how consoles are going away. Who knows? How things are changing for consoles. Imagine, I mean, it might get to that point, but for now, to me, it is a step forward. Gaming is getting better. It's looking better. It's getting us better stories. And arcades, to me, there will always be a part of gaming culture. But if they were to disappear altogether one day, we'll just send them all in a blaze of glory. But trust me, there will be people that'll still keep these around. They'll get the consoles. They'll even form them in their own home if they want to. Trust me, I do think that the arcades will live on in our hearts, but gaming will go on without them. And gaming will be fine. But that's it. That's all I have to say about this. And I hope that you guys like this video. And if you like this, let me know if you guys like me to talk about anything else down below. What do you guys think of the downward spiral of the arcades in the US? Is this something that you should take super serial? Or is this just something that's inevitable? And games will be fine. But you guys let me know what you think down at the bottom. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Fico, and that was my gaming mind. Peace out, everybody.